Obviously I was originally going to choose to do it like a magazine text, but I decided that the newspaper was easier to get hold of. It's also to do with the media, so the newspaper represented the media quite well. And one of my friends, Jordan, who does Art My Media, I'd seen him use this technique with one of his pieces of the work, and I thought it worked really well, so that's why I basically decided to use a similar idea with my own work. So once I'd finished this poster, I was quite happy with it. I thought that it hopefully got the message across that basically it's to do with the media, whether to have plastic surgery or not, and then the title at the bottom, The False Reality, also I think gives the meaning of the poster away, because it's insinuating that this image of her is false, but unfortunately nowadays this is the reality of what we live in. We see images like this all the time. It's false, but it is the reality that we are currently in. I tried different colours of the title. I tried making it a similar colour to her skin, so it looked like it was like transparent on her skin, but I just didn't feel it stood out well enough. But I do quite like the fact it is on her skin, because it's though it is part of her, like she is false. They are quite bland, plain text, but I like the fact it was clear, because it kind of reminded me of a clinic you go to, like I've been to a plastic surgery clinic, and the text there is often very clear, often quite thin. So although it is quite a bland colour, I also felt it went really well, the sort of grey and the white, with the newspaper text. So for a first copy, even though it wasn't my own image, I was really pleased with how it went. And then once I had done my first image of her, obviously it was the first draft poster, I then had to come up with someone who I could take a photo of myself and use for my poster. So I thought of people I could use, and then, to be honest, I think my sister's, not being biased, I think my sister's quite pretty, so I thought I could use her for the image on my poster. She's actually at uni at the moment, but I went to go and visit her last weekend. So I went up there and took a photo of her. It was really useful having used this woman before, because I tried to make the image of my sister as close to this woman as possible. So I took an image of her collarbone, so about here on her, upwards. I took it against a blank background, so there was nothing really to edit there. And I used minimal makeup and then put her hair up as well, so she looked as similar to this model as possible. So once I took an image of my sister, I then obviously had to edit it, and this is the first edit that we came up with. Obviously the background is exactly the same to my original one. Everything is exactly the same, including the text, apart from obviously it's a different person. I pretty much edited my sister the same as the previous woman, so I edited her eyes the same and her lips the same colour, gave her the same plastic surgery markings. So it's pretty much the same. It was more difficult to edit my sister, obviously, because unlike the previous image I used, she hadn't been edited before, so this was totally new. I did have to do quite a lot of airbrushing, took away some of her freckles, took away a few spots she had, tiny little bit bag she had under her eye, and made her look perfected. Again, I still think she looks false enough, and the plastic surgery markings I feel give away the fact that she's a false image, she's not real. So that was my second draft that I came up with. And then, as you've probably seen on my blog, went and did some audience research to see what they thought of my poster, to see if people actually got the message that it conveyed. And then once I'd done that, this one's obviously one I printed out and just did some things, wrote some things on it that I needed to improve. So for instance, people mentioned the fact her lips didn't look quite right, or the fact the title needed to be budged over. It looked too much over this way, and the newspaper looked a bit too light. So and then also the fact that you could see it's a bit orangey near her hairline. So once I'd heard that feedback, I then went back and changed my poster to this one, which is the final poster that I've come up with. So as you can see, I chopped off her hairline a little bit. I made her lips a slightly different colour and to look a bit smoother. And then I also made her shoulder go to the right to the end of the page. So you can see in this one where I've done markings on, her shoulder didn't go right to the end, whereas in this one his shoulder covers the whole page. So overall, to be honest, and I also made the newspaper darker compared to the first one, so it stands out a bit more contrast with her. To be honest, I do prefer my first poster of the woman that I got off the internet that I just edited slightly, because obviously she's been edited professionally by someone and I'm not a professional, but I feel that this poster still works well. It still gives across the right message, in my opinion, that it's about the media, how it controls the way we look, and obviously the title gives it away as well. So I'm still happy with it, but obviously I prefer my original one. So overall I'm pretty happy with how my poster was. I thought my audience feedback really helped in me making corrections with my second draft of my poster.